Om Vakratunde Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastama Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Atha Dvitiyodhyayaha
Atha Dvitiyodhyayaha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Shloka number 45 Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha
Traigunyam Vishaya Vedaha.
Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna
Nitraigunayo Bhavarjuna.
Nirdvandvo Nityasattvastaha
Nirdvandho Nitya Sattvastaha.
Niryogakshema Atmavan
Niryoga Kshema Atmavan.
Vedaha Traigunya Vishayaha. Therefore, this Traigунyaha Bhava, E Arjuna, Nirdvandvaha Bhava, Nityasattvastaha Bhava, Niryogakshemaha Bhava, Atmavan Bhava. The subject matter of the Veda, Traigunya Vishayaha, the subject matter related to three qualities. That is, by employing the means of the Karma Kanda of the Veda, the ends what are achieved. The ends, the sadhya what are achieved, they will be of the three qualities, Sattva, Rajas, Tama. It is going to be one of the Vishaya, the object, either of this world or the other world, Swarga, etc. Therefore, it is gained, it is something gained by doing. Therefore, the subject matter of the Veda here it is referring to Veda Purva, Karma Kanda of the Veda. Therefore, this Traigunya Bhavarjuna, who will take up karma only? Those who want the Ishtapala, those who want to achieve the intended, the desired result, they only do karma, they only take up the sadhana, the karma, for accomplishing the ends, the limited ends. Limited means for the limited ends. So that is the subject matter of the Veda Purva. Therefore, you be free from that. That is, Nistray Gunya Bhavajuna, be free from the desire for gaining the limited ends. Then Nirdvandva Bhava, be free from the pairs of opposites, Sukha, Dukkha, Labha, Alabha. It means have Samatva Buddhi with regard to them. The Nitya Sattvastaha Bhava, have Sattva Guna. Have Sattva Guna. Sattva Guna is Sattva. Guna indicates the Sattva Shuddhi, Antakarna Shuddhi, Antakarna ready for gaining knowledge. Or Sattva Guna can mean the values which are required for Jnanam to take place. Amanittam, Adambittam, Ityadi, Sattva Gunaha. Then here Yoga Kshemaha, free from the pressure or anchoring for yoga and kshema, acquisition and preservation, because the whole life is spent on acquiring and preserving. Arjane dukkam, rakshane dukkam. In gaining there is pain, in maintaining, in protection there is pain. So be free from the pain or the anxieties which are involved in yoga and kshema. Yoga is acquisition, in acquiring, in gaining the limited ends and preserving it. Because the ends, the sadhyas are limited, therefore difficult to preserve, goes away in time. Therefore, niryoga kshemaha bhava, then atmavan, may you be the master of yourself. May the mind, may the antakarna be with you. May you not be carried over by this yamimam pushpitam vacham, this pushpita vacha, the flowery words of the Vedavada rataha na anyata asti iti vadiraha iti, what we saw in the previous book. So yesterday we read this, we will read from here. Already we have read. Shankaracharya prefaces his commentary to this shloka by saying that for the people who are committed to enjoyments and power, for those who do not have viveka buddhi, the subject of the matter of the Vedas becomes Traigunya. So for them, Abhyavasayinam, this subject matter of the Veda is Traigunya. They see the whole Veda as only one Shastra. Therefore, the Veda is meant for them for revealing the means and the ends. Limited means for gaining the limited ends. Therefore, Traigunya Vishayaha, for those people, this is not a full definition of the Veda, which contains more, includes Vedanta. But they don't consider Vedanta, Jnanakanda as a separate portion. For them, the whole Veda is only one, Traigunya Vishayaha, Veda for gaining the ends, limited ends, by employing the limited means. This is what is meant here, that for those who are committed to Bhoga and Aishwarya, all the Shastrams will be Traigunya Vishayaha alone. They don't have the correct vision, correct drishti of the Shastra. They are committed to Bhoga, Aishwarya, therefore, for them the whole Shastra is Traigunya Vishayaha alone. One usually looks in the scriptures only for what one wants to see. It is like going to a hardware store that has hundreds of things and looking only for what you want. Similarly, there are a number of topics in the Shastra, and you look only for what you want. The Veda provides you with the legitimate means for achieving various ends. There are unknown means for known ends, known means for unknown ends, unknown means for unknown ends. Heaven, for example, is an unknown end. It is not a known sadhya, unknown sadhya, ajnata sadhyam, because it is not directly known to us. How is Swargaloka? Nobody knows. Unknown end. What is the means for going to the Swargaloka? That is unknown means also, sadhanam also, ajnata. Another janma, a better birth, that is also an unknown end. That the Shastra says that will be accomplished by a life of dharma. Dharma is a known means, because what is right and wrong is not totally unknown to us. So the Veda confirms what means are right and wrong to accomplish this desirable unknown in later, be it heaven or another janma. Previously, I did not know that if I did the right thing, I would get punya. And by doing the right thing, I not only get the result here, drishtapalam, but I get adrishtapalam also, a later result. In this way, Veda talks about means for gaining unknown ends. It also talks about unknown means for known ends, like having a child. The ritual that is provided has nothing to do with having a child and is only performed when all the other known avenues have been explored. If after consulting doctors and following their advice, there is still no child, then there is definitely some obstacle, some pratibandha. The only way remaining to remove the obstacle is through prayer. Therefore, the Veda gives a ritual, which is a prayer, not a broad spectrum ritual, but a specific ritual meant solely for having a child. Thus, you find that the Veda reveals a variety of means and ends known and not known to us, but all of them are meant for limited results. These are what people committed to Bhoga and Aishwarya look for. For them, Veda means only that part which relates to the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas, trigunya vishaya, meaning samsara. Sattva will give you happiness, rajas will give you agitation, and tamas will give you dullness and sorrow. Thus, these three qualities are what give you joy and sorrow, sukha and dukkha. Samsara means that which is within the fold of the three gunas. Means and ends are not only the subject matter of the Veda. In this shloka, Bhagavan advised Arjuna straight away not to be one for whom samsara is an end to be accomplished. He said, Nistray gunyo bhava asamsari bhava ityartaha. In fact, samsara cannot be an end to be accomplished. We already have it. We are already within the fold of the three gunas and are seeking freedom from it. A drowning man doesn't require more water. He's already drowning and will not want to get into the ocean. Similarly, we are already up to our necks in the ocean of samsara. The samsara cannot be an end to be achieved at any time. It can only be a situation to get out of. Krishna was as though telling Arjuna, don't look into the Veda to find a better place in samsara. Be a little discriminating. You have come up to the Veda, yet you are trying to perpetuate your samsara. It is meaningless. May you therefore become one for whom samsara is not that Nistre Gunyo Bhava. You be free from the three gunas. Nistre Gunyo Bhava Asamsari Bhava Ityartaha. Shankaracharya gives a meaning in short. May you be free from desire. Nishkamaha Bhava. That is, he says, may you be free from the desire for bhoga and aishwarya, power, pleasures and power. Let these not be the end in view. Further, may you become free from the opposites, the causes of sukha and dukkha. Nirdvandvaha bhava. Dvandva meaning opposite, pairs of opposites. Nirdvandva means free from the pairs of opposites. Shankaracharya also explained the words dvandva and nirdvandva. The causes, hetus, for sukha and dukkha, pleasure and pain are referred to as opposites. Meaning of the word dvandva here. The one who is free from the pairs of opposites is called nirdvandva, free from the causes of sukha and dukkha, etc. How can you be free from the causes of sukha and dukkha? By not being dependent for your happiness on the presence or absence of anything. Cold and heat, for example, can make you unhappy. If they do, it means that you are dependent on the presence or absence for your happiness. That means you are not nirdvandva. Another set of opposites is jaya and ajaya, victory and defeat. They also become the hetu, the cause, the basis for your sukha and dukkha. In defeat, there is pain, dukkham. In victory, there is elation, sukham. To this, you may say, granted, I don't want pain, but why should I not be elated? The reason is that if you're elated, you're definitely going to have pain also. Therefore, may you not let the opposites affect you. Dvandvaha bhava. Since you cannot avoid them, may they not affect you. Although you cannot avoid winter and summer, you can allow them not to affect you by maintaining a certain composure or attitude towards them. In this way, you need not be carried away by changing situations, which may not always be to your liking. One whose mind, whose thinking enjoys a predominant of sattva guna is called sattvastaha. When sattva is dominant, then there is composure, discrimination, vicharaha, inquiry, and knowledge, jnanam. Rajoguna, on the other hand, means agitation, ambition, dynamism, and so on. Therefore, may your commitment always to be knowledge only, nitya sattvastaha bhava, so that you can discover yourself to be nistray gunya, asamsari. So nitya sattvastaha, cultivating more sattva to discover asamsaritvam, nistray gunyaha. Shankaracharya also explains what the word nir-yoga-kshema means in his commentary to the shloka. Gaining something that you don't have is called yoga. Here, yoga is not Ashtanga yoga, not karma yoga, not jnana yoga. Here, yoga means apraptasya praptihi, gaining the not gained, something that is not with you, something that you want to accomplish, something that is desirable. That is called yoga. Kshema means having to protect what you have already gained. Say you don't have a job and you apply for one and then go for an interview. This is all done for the sake of getting the job, and therefore you are doing yoga. Once you have the job, then it becomes another job to retain it. The whole job of retaining a job is what is meant by kshema. Similarly, earning money is yoga, and hanging on to it, investing it is kshema. Having a child is yoga. bringing up and retaining the child, not losing it, is kshema. Getting married is yoga, and making it work is kshema. Therefore, there is yoga, kshema everywhere. A person's problem will always be related to either yoga or kshema, either in acquisition, either in gaining or in preserving. Either you don't get what you want, or you have lost what you had, or losing what you have. From the hair on your head onwards, there are hundreds of things that we are losing, which causes problems of anxiety, all of which are yoga and kshema. Krishna therefore said to Arjuna, may you be a person who has no concern or anxiety due to yoga or kshema. Nir yoga kshemaha bhava. The whole idea here is that for those who are only concerned with getting what they want and hanging on to it, engaging themselves in the pursuit of moksha will be very difficult. Therefore, Krishna did not say that you should not go for yoga and kshema. Rather, he said, let there be no concern born of yoga and kshema. In other words, may you be free. Further, Krishna says, may you be one whose mind and senses are with you. May you be Atmavan, a master of yourself, self-mastery. All of this is explained throughout the Gita. Otherwise, Krishna's words would have been merely advice and not teaching. This shloka tells us what Bhagavan was going to teach. Here, Atma means, Atma refers to the body, mind, and senses. Body, mind, sense complex, Atma. Not to the Sachidananda Atma, which is already you. Because you have a body, mind, and senses, what is being said here is, may you have them. May they not have you. May you not be in the hands of your fancies. May your mind be with you. May you become free from indifference and mechanical thinking, pramada. In other words, may you become alert. May you be together. May you be an integrated person. Yuktaha ityartaha. Those who are committed to bhoga and aishwarya, they see the Veda as having only the three qualities as its subject matter, trigunya vishayaha, whereas it has much more to teach. For example, the contents of this shloka are taught in the Veda. Vedanta is also a part of the Veda. Krishna was saying that Arjuna had learned enough of the Traigunya Vishaya part of the Veda. Now it was time for him to study the other part, Jnanakanda, Upanishad, Vedanta. Thus, he used the word Nistraigunyam. Then he went on to emphasize his point. Let us read the next shloka, where the Upamana is given. Yavanarthavudapane
यावनथ उदपाने
sarvatas sampulutodake
सर्वतः सम्प्लुतोदके
tavan sarveshu vedeshu
तावान् सर्वेषु वेदेषु
brahmanasya vijanatah.
ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः
Udapana means a water body. Udapana. Yavanartha udapane sarvatah samplutodake. Sarvatah sampluta udaka. When water is everywhere, what purpose does a small water body, a pond or a well serve? Similarly, Tavan Sarveshu Vedeshu Brahmanasya Vijanatah. So too, for the one who knows Brahma, for the Brahmanasya Vijanatah, for the knowing Brahmana. Brahmana here it is not Brahmana Kshatriya Vaishya Shudra. Here, Brahmajanati iti Brahmanaha. The one who knows Brahma is called the Brahmana. Therefore, for the Brahmana who knows the Veda, what much the Veda, the Karma Kanda of the Veda serves. Not only Karma Kanda, all the Vedas. In the whole Veda as a Pramana. It serves only as much as the water body, small water body serves for quenching your thirst when there is water everywhere. For the Brahmana who knows the Atma, all the Vedas are of so much use only as a small reservoir here is when there is a flood everywhere. You are thirsty and there is water everywhere. Then will you take water from the pond when water is everywhere? So that similarly, that much only the Veda will be useful for a Brahmana who knows the Atma. It means Vedas have served the purpose. The reason asked Krishna Arjuna, the reason Krishna asked Arjuna to go beyond those parts of the Veda dealing with samsara, Trigunya Vishaya, is given in this excellent shloka. The word Brahmana means one in whom sattva is dominant, predominant. The previous shloka, Nitya Sattvastaha mentioned. So the one who has sattva guna, dominant, is called a Brahmana. Therefore, a Brahmana is a thinking person. Sattva dominancy is indicated by the viveka, the thinking, knowledge, composure, tranquility. Brahmana is a thinking person, a discriminating person, viveki. The word Vijanataha qualifying the Brahmana refers to one who knows what it is all about. Vijanataha, he knows what the Veda says. For an enlightened Brahmana, Vijanataha Brahmanasya, that's what Vijanataha Brahmanasya, for the Brahmana who knows the Atma. Brahma is Atma, myself. Bhagavan says, the portion of the Veda relating to samsara, Veda Purva, is only as useful as the water from a well when the entire countryside has been flooded. Sarvataha Samplutodake. When the wells and ponds themselves are underwater, you need not look to them for water. The end of seeking. The various means and ends talked about in the Veda are all limited, so that any result you derive from the karmas enjoined is also going to be limited. The wise person is the one who knows he is limitless. Purnaha, Param Brahma. When a person is limitless, Ananda, where is necessity of looking for Ananda? Because the very nature, the Swarupa of the person is Ananda. One who has this knowledge doesn't look for Ananda, just as a sugar crystal doesn't require any sugar at all to make it itself sweeter. Nothing can become sweeter than sugar. Once something has crystallized into sugar, it cannot be sweetened by any further. It cannot be sweetened any further. The very crystallization indicates that the sweetness saturation has been reached. The American system of government may be better than the Russian system, but their sugars are both the same. The same way, you are Ananda by nature. When you are Ananda, you don't require any source of Ananda, any source of security. But this is exactly what you are seeking through all these karmas, means and ends. Therefore, the various means and ends mentioned in all the four Vedas will only be of as much use, Tavan Sarveshu Vedeshu, as the small ponds and wells are when there is water everywhere. When the ponds and wells are already flooded by water, where is a pond or well, in fact? So therefore, all that Krishna said in the previous shlokas was to create in Arjuna an interest in Karma Yoga, which Krishna has not yet talked about. He had only talked about Sankhya, knowledge. After asking Arjuna to listen to what he had to say about Karma Yoga, he began praising it, saying that there was no possibility of losing anything or incurring any wrong result by its practice because Karma Yoga is not mere karma. He then pointed out that people do karmas because they don't know what they really want. Since what they want is not very clear, they go after enjoyment and power. However, when what is wanted is very clear, the mind is settled. The storm is over, and there is no more interest in experimentation. There is no more trying to see if this or that will do it. All experimentation stops because there is clarity with reference to what is wanted, which itself is a great blessing. Then it becomes a question of whether you want to live a life of sannyasa or karma yoga. The only two lifestyles open to you. Between the two, you have a choice. But in fact, there is really very little choice because it all depends upon where you are. Sannyasa may not be advisable at all. Therefore, karma yoga is preferable. Both have a common goal. Both are meant for moksha in the form of knowledge. A sannyasi works for moksha. So does a karma yogi. Although Krishna has talked so much about karma yoga, he has not actually said what it is. Therefore, in the next shloka, he explains it. An important shloka. Let us read. Karman yeva adhikaraste.
कर्मण्येवाधिकारास्ते
Ma phaleshu kadachana.
फलेषु कथाचन
मा कर्म फलहेतुर्भूः
मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भूः
मा ते सङ्गोऽस्त्वकर्मणि.
मा ते सङ्गोऽस्त्वकर्मणि.
An important shloka, but popularly misinterpreted. Karmani eva adhikaraha. Swamiji uses the right word, adhikaraha, choice. Your choice in doing. Kartum shakyam anyata va kartum shakyate anyata va kartum shakyate akartum shakyate anyata va kartum shakyate. You can choose to do. You can choose to do in any other way, or you can choose not to do. So in karmani, in doing your choice. But what about the results of the karma? You don't have any choice. So it's a fact. Karmani eva adhikaraha asti. Paleshu na nasti, never. Therefore, you don't become karma palahetuhu. Therefore, you don't become the cause of the result of the karma. Therefore, sangaha astu karmani. Mate sangaha astu karmani. Therefore, because the results depends on so many factors. Therefore, don't be attached to inaction. Don't refrain from doing also. You have choice in doing, but not to the results of the karma. Therefore, don't take to inaction. No. Thinking that everything, thinking that the result of the action doesn't lie with me. Therefore, don't take to inaction. That is the meaning. Your choice is in action only, never in the results thereof. Therefore, don't be the author of the results of action. So, therefore, don't be the author of the results of action. Let your attachment not be to inaction. You cannot be the author of the results of action. The results of action depends on so many factors. Therefore, even if you wish, if you want, you cannot be, because Ishvara is a karma paladata. So therefore, don't be attached to inaction also. You have to doing it for Chitta Shuddhi. Karma Yoga is for doing. So you have to do. You cannot choose to inaction. And you cannot remain inactive also. All these things are going to be talked about. So here Shankaracharya takes the karma mentioned in this shloka as purely Shastra Vigita karma, scripturally enjoined karma, Vedika karma, because that was what under discussion. We shall look at it as any karma rather than strictly Vedika karma. Since Karma Yoga follows for it, and Shankaracharya has said nothing to rule out the propriety of this approach. The word adhikara means choice. Important. The word adhikara means choice. You are right. Something over which you have power. The choice is only with reference to karma, the actions you perform. At no time, ma kadachit, however, is there a choice with reference to the results of action, paleshu. You cannot dictate the results of action. You can choose to do, but you cannot choose to have the desired result, because it depends on so many factors. Thus, with reference to all the actions, you have a choice, but with reference to the results thereof, you have no choice whatsoever. This is a very simple statement of fact. This is a fact. Even for Vaidika karma, there is a choice. You can do it, you need not do it. Or you can do it differently. Kartum shakyam, anyatava kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam. This capacity to do, not to do, or do it differently makes you a karma adhikari. An animal, on the other hand, is not a karma adhikari because it doesn't have a choice in its action. It is motivated only by its instincts. When Krishna told Arjuna that he did not have any choice over the results of action, he was not giving a piece of advice. It was a statement of fact. A statement of fact is not an advice, it is teaching. That water boils at 100 degrees Celsius is a statement of fact. Here also, with reference to actions and the results, the statement, your choice is only in action, never in the results thereof. Karmani eva adhikaraha te ma paleshu kadachana is a statement of fact. So the definition of karma yoga. Yoga is defined in 3 different ways in the Gita. In this second chapter, defined defined, Karma Yoga defined in two places, and in the sixth chapter also it is defined. So the Karma Yoga that Krishna is praising is defined in two ways in this chapter. The first is evenness of the mind. Samatvam Yoga Uchyate, that's called Karma Yoga. Second chapter, 48 shloka. The second is Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam, discretion in action is called Karma Yoga. Both definitions are necessary and need to be understood. Only then Karma Yoga can be properly understood. What about third definition? Third definition, it is in the sixth chapter. Dukkha Sanyoga Viyoga. This association with the pain, that's called Yoga Iti. Anyway, that is in the sixth chapter, Dhyana Yoga. Will come later. Here, Samatva and Kaushala are defining words for Karma Yoga. Samatva is based on the sentence in the present shloka. Karmani eva adhikaraha tema paleshu kadachana. Samatva means sameness. And sameness of mind is Karma Yoga. Karma is also definitely involved in Karma Yoga. Otherwise, there would be no Karma Yoga. There can be karma without yoga, but without karma, there can be no Karma Yoga. If Karma Yoga implies karma, there must be sameness, samatva, with reference to karma. Let us see where this sameness is possible. Sameness is not possible in the karma itself because you cannot do the same karma during the entire day, day after day, and throughout your life, entire lifetime. Cooking is one karma, eating is another, and stirring the food in the pot is yet another. Removing the pot from the fire is a different karma altogether. The karmas are therefore endless, sitting, standing, switching the stove on, switching it off, and so on. Obviously, then the karmas cannot be the same because they are different. Therefore, karma is not same. That is, sameness is not possible with regard to karma. Perhaps you can say the results of karma, the karma palas are same. No, that is also not possible. Again, it is not possible. Why? When you eat water, for example, there is one result, and when you switch off the stove, there is another entirely different result. The water that was hot slowly becomes cold as it loses its heat. Thus, different karmas are done for different results. The results vary. If you don't get a different result, when you switch the stove on and off, you have a different kind of problem. In that, the stove is not functioning properly. Normally, the results will be different. Thus, neither karmas nor the results can be the same. In fact, different karmas are performed for different results. Every karma is desire based, and every action presupposes desire. So, therefore, desire cannot be the same. I do different karmas because I want different results. Desires are meant for results alone, and the results are different. Thus, samatva is not in the karma, its results are on the desire upon which the karma is based. So, in any of them, samatvam is not there, the sameness is not there, then where is that sameness? In fact, samatva can only be there with reference to your attitude concerning the results of action. While you have choice over your action, you are helpless with reference to the result. You are not Ishvara. You are just an individual with limited knowledge, limited power, and ever so many desires. We have countless likes and dislikes, ragadveshas, to be fulfilled. Therefore, you undertake various activities. Karma is totally desire based. Whatever be the nature of karmas you do, they are all meant for fulfilling your ragadveshas, commonly called desires. Raga is with reference to what you want to have, what you want to retain. And Dvesha is with reference to what you want to avoid, what you want to get rid of. One is getting, other one is getting rid of. That you want is kama, desire. What you want is defined in terms of either raga or dvesha. Everyone has likes and dislikes. They form the nature of an individual and are common to all. They may reveal how cultured, how sophisticated a person is. But the fact that everyone has likes and dislikes is common. There is no exception. Because of the presence of raga dveshas alone, there are various activities and all the karmas undertaken to meant to produce desired results because both raga and dvesha are result oriented. You want to accomplish this being the result. It is not that you want to accomplish karma. You want to accomplish the result, and for its sake, you do this karma. Since you perform particular karma to accomplish a specific end, it seems as though you have figured out which karma will produce which result. But then you find that what you have figured out is not that predictable. In fact, you find that you can get exactly the opposite of what you thought you'd get. What you want is one thing, but what you do seems to be either inadequate or inappropriate as it produces the opposite result. If you analyze any result, we find that it is always falls into one of the following categories. The result can be either more than what we want, or less than what we want, or the opposite of what we want, or exactly what we want. If you want to cross the road and you do so, finding yourself on the other side, you got what you wanted. The result was as you expected. If you wanted to cross the road to catch a bus, and while doing so, someone offered you a right to where you are going, you got more than what you expected from crossing the road. Had you not crossed the road to get to the bus stop, you would not have met the person who offered a ride. Or having wanted to cross the road, you may have found yourself in the hospital, having only reached the middle. So all these are possible. Therefore, the result can be entirely different from what you wanted. You may have wanted a job, but instead the person who interviewed for the job you did not get sold you what turned out to be a winning lottery ticket. You did not get the job you wanted, but you did get something entirely different. And in this case, most desirable, $1 million. All these situations are possible because you are not omniscient, you are not Ishvara. Also, there is certain helplessness involved. Therefore, keeping all your fingers crossed may not be enough. You may be better off by crossing your toes also. What is up the sleeve of the future is always a wonder because we simply don't know what is coming next. We don't even know what our next thought is going to be, even after having lived for 40 or 50 years. Yet we talk about the future. This then is the helplessness of the individual, the jiva. I think it's a long one, commentary. We'll stop here. We'll continue. It's a very important shloka. We'll begin from here next tomorrow. The limitations of the jiva. Om Purnamadav Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om
धन्यवादः
Dhanyavadaha